Now on iHeartRadio.
Nissan Bolivinak, and welcome back to Pacific Mornings with Aggie here. It is 9 minutes past 7 o'clock. Look, as a long-standing advocate for Pacifica, Levar has once again been selected by the Ministry of Health for the Suicide Prevention Commissioning Office to administer at least part of a $3.1 million community fund. Now, this supports communities to create innovative solutions to prevent suicide. So joining us on the show this morning is Levar Senior Manager for Suicide Prevention. It is Leilani Clarke. So we're going to be talking about that fund and, of course, suicide prevention strategies. So with that, I say malo le soifua, Leilani, and welcome to the show this morning.
Alofa, Iggy. Nice to be here. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, absolutely, Leilani. Thank you always for coming through and just sharing, the work that you guys do. I suppose where we can start, though, when it comes to implementing funds, though, into initiatives, right, like suicide prevention, where do you start? What does it involve?
Well, I think the first step, would be to figure out whether you're eligible to actually apply for this particular fund. So on our website, there's a eligibility quiz, and it helps you asking just a few questions. And the things are like, is your organisation or your community group Pacifica-led and New Zealand-based? And actually, are you trying to aim to prevent suicide within our Pacifica communities here in New Zealand? So just a quick quiz around that, right, to see if you're eligible. Yeah. The next step is actually looking at our critical elements that we have. So there are 7 of those critical elements to successfully implement a Pacifica suicide prevention community-based initiative. And these are laid out too on the website. And some of the things that those look at, our critical elements, I should say, is things like cultural relevance. Does your initiative have the ability to effectively engage with our culturally targeted populations, or is it clinically safe? Does your initiative have clinically and culturally safe messaging within it? Right. Another one would be around like trusted relationships. So do you have pre-existing community relationships that actually, credibility to effectively engage with those communities around suicide prevention? So these are just a few that I can think of at the moment, but I recommend that you check out all 7 of these on our website, and just think, actually, are we hitting some of these? If you're hitting some, that's great, but if you can hit all 7, even better. So I think that's the best place to start at this point.
I mean, I look at that, obviously, the amount of money that's being gifted, right? 3.1 million. And I'm such a big advocate. I love that our Pacific people want to lead this type of campaign and initiative. What then types of initiatives have been actually used? Do you know what I mean? In suicide prevention?
Yeah, this is our 3rd round day of funding for this particular fund, and we've supported a vast range of initiatives across the country. A lot of things like well-being projects within the grassroots rugby league clubs, for example, creative arts, whether that be performing arts or within art-type projects, even developing online well-being apps or youth mentoring. There's quite a few, right? So what we're looking for is innovation. We're looking for a different approach to preventing suicide within our Pacific communities. And, our communities know what's best for them. So come with us, come to us, I should say, with all those ideas. Innovation is key at this point. Yeah.
Nice. If you're tuning in, we are catching up with Leilani Clarke from Levar. Leilani, I'd love to know, though, are there actually enough people, who are sort of sitting and working in this mental health space?
Well, we know from the latest Mental Health and Wellbeing Commission report that there were concerns about understaffing in our mental health sector, particularly for youth. However, for this fund, it's about community-based initiatives. We all have a part to play in preventing suicide, as family members, as friends, as parents, as community members. So at this stage, what can we do to support those in our community that are experiencing mental distress? This is what the fund is for. So, everyone has a part to play, and everyone's part may be different. Yeah.
Leilani, it's such a very serious topic, right? To even mention the word suicide, and the fact that there's a lot of people that deal with mental health. So the question is, are they usually an obvious sign of someone who is actually dealing with that? Is it just a simple pattern that we should be following? Or, can it just be, we wouldn't even have a clue. But how do we actually approach? Do you know what I mean? How do we actually be that person who can possibly help someone in that space?
Yeah, there are warning signs if someone is vulnerable or they're at risk of suicide, and we should all actually learn to identify what those are. We need to know, what are some of the things or terms of behavior changes that we will see, or what are the things we might hear them say, or what is our gut telling us? We're very instinctual as Pasifika people, so we should listen to our gut a lot more.
Absolutely.
And I guess, things to be mindful of is the new environments that we dwell in. So what are some of the behaviors we might see online? And, I could talk about suicide prevention all day, but we don't have all day. But what we do recommend is going to come along to one of the Leva suicide prevention workshops. They're for free. We've got Floats Alanoa for our Pacifica communities. We've also got life keepers for the rest of our New Zealanders, right? And at those trainings, you'll learn about what are those warning signs, what are the risks, but, more importantly, how do we prevent suicide? So, you can find out a lot of information about that on our website, how to register.
Nice.
But yeah, definitely, Aggie, there are signs out there.
We'll definitely grab the links from your workplace and have that up on this interview too, Leilani, so that's just great. But I would also like to know, just is there a key message, that you would love to let our listeners know this morning in regards to, one, suicide itself, but also this initiative that you guys are wanting to, get people to jump on, and if they have the solution or innovation, where do they head to?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for the opportunity, Aggie. I say apply, get those ideas, and we've got some beautiful ideas out in our community, and this is an opportunity to support those. So if you've got any questions about the fund, email us at suicide.prevention.co.nz, or just simply go to our website, levar.co.nz. A lot of information there, and can't wait to see all those apps come in. You got to the 6th of May. 6th of May is when it
That's
closed.
Good to know. Absolutely. Hey, Leilani, look, I know this is, it's a touchy subject, but one I know that we definitely need to always be open enough to have that talanoa. So we really appreciate you coming on the show this morning. But again, thank you for your time this morning.
Wonderful. Thanks again, Aggie.
No worries. That, of course, is Leilani Clarke from Leva. Now, if you need more information or you missed part of this interview, just head to, of course, our 531PI Facebook page as we head back to some music. There's none other than Pat Williams. Ooh, this is Sad Movies right here on 531PI.